Suddenly, a wild wolf burst through the hospital's entrance, its powerful presence sending shockwaves through the corridors. The sight of the ferocious creature caused panic and confusion among the staff and patients. The nurses scattered, seeking shelter from the wolf's imposing figure. Among them was a young nurse named Emily. With wide eyes and trembling hands, she watched as the wolf prowled through the hospital, its fierce gaze piercing through the chaos. However, amidst the fear and frenzy, Emily noticed something unusual. The wolf carried something in its jaws. Everyone at the hospital is in total shock. Most of the staff run away in fear of the wolf. Emily tries calming everyone because she notices that the wolf is carrying something. It looks like a small creature, but it is not a wolf. What could it possibly be? The hospital security immediately starts evacuating the hospital. They can't risk anyone getting hurt by the wolf. However, almost nobody seems to care. She tries to get close to the wolf, but the wolf is running around the hospital, not knowing where to go. It seems very lost and helpless, making sounds that sound like it is in distress. Emily then comes up with a plan to lock the wolf inside a room with her. But it seems very dangerous with a predator. Emily is very scared but manages to keep a safe distance from the wolf. She knows that the wolf desperately needs the help of her or a veterinarian. Emily is in luck, and the wolf seems to calm down. Then Emily decides to seek help from a willing doctor. Emily opens the door and the wolf stays in the room. Emily thinks it finally understands that she is going to get the wolf help. Emily quickly shouts to some doctors that she needs help with the wolf. To her frustration, they all just run away from her. They don't want to get hurt. All the doctors seem very reluctant to help Emily. She pleads with them to just follow her. He tells Emily to stay in front. He isn't a veterinarian, so he does not have the required skills. But he promises Emily he will everything he can do to help. When they get close to the room, they hear howling. The wolf seems to get very concerned about the well-being of the small creature. They have to act fast. However, when entering the room, the wolf is instantly on edge again. There seems to be a strong connection between the creature and the wolf. Emily tries to get closer, but the wolf instantly shows her teeth. Emily quickly realizes that this isn't going to get easy. She doesn't know what to do. When her friend Mark tries it, the wolf seems even more displeased and even starts growling at him. Mark now doesn't even dare to come closer. Emily doesn't give up, and by some miracle, the wolf only lets her get closer to the creature. Emily doesn't know what to do. She has no clue what the creature could be, but it seems very weak. She has to bring it somewhere to a safe and sterile room. Emily musters up the courage to pick up the creature, knowing that the wolf watches her every move. Then, luckily, when she picks it up, the wolf doesn't resist either. It finally recognizes that Emily is only there to help. However, she still doesn't let Mark come close. Emily knows she has to get to an operating room, and the wolf follows her, preferably a veterinarian. However, the nearest one is still pretty far away. Mark tells her to call the veterinarian to see if he can assist from a distance. She instantly gets a hold of the veterinarian, and when she explains the situation, the vet is instantly silent. For several seconds, no response came. Emily had the feeling that something was very wrong. He asks Emily to describe the creature for her. He has absolutely no idea what it is and how to help it, but he realizes that it is getting weaker by the minute. He needs to be there in person. Emily recognizes that there is something more about it. It looks like it feels threatened. Emily immediately shields the wolf from the police officers that are on edge. She tells them to back off. Then the wolf does something unexpected. The wolf walks towards the door. It looks like it wants Emily to follow her. Emily has no clue what is going on. But a sense of urgency is in the air, and Emily can't ignore the wolf. She feels like she has to follow the wolf. Deep down, Emily feels that there is way more going on than everyone realizes. She follows the wolf outside. It seems to be heading towards the forest. Emily runs back inside to grab her phone to alert the veterinarian. The vet tells Emily he is on his way towards the hospital, but can't provide further help. If there is something else in the forest, then Emily is on her own. He can't do two things at once, and his priority is the weak creature. Emily has to make a choice. Emily decides with some reluctance to follow the wolf into the dense forest. She feels unsafe on her own. The wolf doesn't seem too aggressive, but Emily has the feeling she does need some backup. Emily starts hesitating. She shares her live location with David. Then she looks right in the wolf's eyes. The wolf starts to get fidgety. Emily can't wait for David to show up and decides to head into the dense forest with the wolf guiding her. Emily has no clue where she is going, but it feels like this is very important. Like there is something more going on. The deeper they get into the forest, the more anxious Emily gets. There is one thing that comforts her. The wolf is probably defending her if something goes wrong. Then she hears something. Emily starts hearing faint noises in the distance. It first sounds like cries for help. However, it keeps getting weaker by the second. This can't be good. There are some animals that are in desperate need of attention, but what could they be? Emily is on edge and almost against when she hears a loud noise. She then realizes she is getting called by someone. She picks up the phone, but she almost has no signal. She hears the vet on the other side stuttering. It vaguely sounds like he urges her to go back. Emily knows it is an urgent call. The wolf is staring at her in desperation. Emily starts to doubt her choices. Should she go towards the noises, or should she decide to back off now? She takes a few steps back, but then she realizes it is already too late. When she starts backing off, the wolf senses her fear and starts growling. Emily then realizes she has absolutely no choice but to follow the wolf wherever it is leading her. Emily can't believe she is doing this, but there is no going back now. Emily decides to muster all of her courage to keep on following the noises. She senses she is close. It is only a matter of time before she knows the urgency of the situation. She feels a shiver down her spine when the forest starts getting more dense. Emily hears noises all around her. This time she is certain that someone is close to her. She definitely knows she is being watched now. Then she turns pale and she hears a voice in the distance shouting at her. Due to the adrenaline, Emily doesn't recognize the voice. But when she looks up, she realizes it is David, who luckily caught up to her. He tells her he lost her signal, but was able to track her down thanks to the tracks of the wolf. Then the wolf suddenly gets aggressive. The wolf doesn't know who David is and starts to charge towards him. Emily realizes what is going on and throws herself in between the wolf and David. She closes her eyes, not knowing what is going to happen next. Right before impact, the wolf stops its attack. Emily sighs in relief. The wolf seems to realize David is there to help. It turns around again and hints that both Emily and David should be following now. Emily realizes they are close. David was so shocked about the sudden charge that he fell down. He slowly gets up and asks Emily what exactly is going on. Emily tells him that she has absolutely no idea about the gravity of the situation or what they are chasing, but she urges him to trust the wolf. David follows closely behind Emily when he picks up the distress noises as well. He realizes that there is something that urgently needs their attention. The sounds are getting increasingly louder with every step they toward them. Emily asks David if he recognizes the noises. David tells her that he has never heard anything like these noises before. They both have absolutely no clue what kind of animal it could be. They know the wolf is connected, but in what way? Curiosity is at an all-time high for both Emily and David. Then they finally get to the source of the noises. They realize they come from down an old well. Something probably fell down the well. The wolf hints at the fact this is where he wants Emily and David to help. Emily looks down and calls David over. It is really dark inside of the well. They can't see anything. However, they definitely know that there is something down there. They hear it. It sounds like some animals are in distress. By a stroke of luck, David had brought some rope with him. He tells Emily that it is strong enough to hold him so he can rappel down. He quickly starts tying the rope to a nearby tree. However, he quickly realizes the rope is too short. David tells Emily that there is only one way to do this. He needs her to hold the rope while he rappels down. Emily is hesitant. This could go very wrong. She feels like she isn't strong enough. She needs to tie the rope around her waist. Could seriously hurt her. The wolf is getting anxious because it is taking so long. Finally, Emily gives in and goes along with David's plan. She ties the rope around her waist and holds it tight. Then David realizes he has missed something. David takes a deep breath and lets himself go over the edge while Emily grabs the rope tightly. David rappels down, then Emily panics while the rope slips away from him. The rope isn't tied well enough around her waist, and she suddenly hears David scream and a loud noise. She realizes he hit the bottom. David did indeed fall, but luckily he was almost at the bottom. The wolf managed to hold the rope with its teeth. This way, Emily could secure the rope and make sure David could get back up again. David grabs the phone and activates the flashlight. Then he finally realizes what was making the noise. David points the flashlight toward the noises and sees more of these tiny animals. He shouts to Emily what he sees. She realizes that the one in the hospital was not the only one. She shouts back to David that they need to get them out of the well. They need to do it quickly. They don't have a lot of time. David needs to bring them to the surface one at a time. The animals are weak, so he needs to support them as well as he can. David has no clue what they could be, but he has a feeling that the vet already has an answer back at the hospital. After about 15 minutes, David got all the animals to the surface. They were now staring at a total of 5 animals. There was only one problem they had to deal with now. They had to get them safely to the hospital, but the animals were too big to transport them all at once, or so it seemed. David and Emily can only carry 2 each, which still leaves them with 1. However, they realized that the wolf could carry one of them as well. They picked up the animals and started making a run for it. They had to get back. Then Emily got called, but the vet that he had identified the animal and that it was important. She returned to the hospital immediately. Emily told the vet that they had found 5 more. Then she heard a gasp. "How is that even possible?" the vet shouted. They know now. They cannot waste any minute. The animals had to go to the vet to be saved. Were they too late already? They cannot enter the room under any circumstance. The vet needs to be fully focused to save the animals. Emily gets really anxious. They start speculating what these animals could be. They aren't wolves, but the wolf is definitely connected to them. The wolf was allowed inside of the operating room because they could not control it anymore. Then, after some hours, they heard a loud howl. The howl was coming from the operating room. The vet opened the door and let them inside. He told them they were just in time and that they had managed to save the animals. Emily sighed in relief, but she was still curious. Emily first runs to the wolf, who seems to be very calm. The animals themselves also stopped making noises and appeared to be asleep. The vet tells her that they needed to regain their strength and that it could take a while. Emily musters up the courage to hug the wolf. The wolf lets her. It realizes that Emily had all the best intentions and managed to help in this difficult situation. Then Emily turns to the desks for an explanation. The vet starts off by telling Emily and David that he was wrong. He should have never asked Emily to go back. However, he was scared that something might happen. Then he tells them that he saved some extraordinary animals that he had never seen before. These animals are a crossbreed between a wild dog and a wolf. He can't tell how they ended up inside the well, but these pups are very rare. He knows that there is a black market for animals like this. She is completely against letting them back into the wild. They need to go to someplace safe. He tells them it is best for the pups and the wolf to be transferred to a safe place where they can be observed. Not a zoo, but an animal sanctuary. Luckily, David works for the local animal sanctuary, and they still have room for these animals. David is concerned about the wolf and what it will do when they take her pups away. However, it seems like the wolf is happy to follow her pups to the animal sanctuary, where she is taken care of. One less thing to worry about. Emily now regularly visits the wolf, and even the pups recognize her and David now. She gets a lot of love from them. She is happy that she made the choice to conquer her fears and follow the wolf into the forest that day to save the animals.